Like the bicycle store manager, excellent leaders involve their fellow workers in tackling challenging problems head-on. Rather than telling people how to solve their problems, they act on an optimistic belief in the ability of individuals to improve, grow, and adapt. This optimism is also vital to their performance of the evaluator leadership role. Unlike average leaders who see evaluation as a bureaucratic chore that is done for its own sake, people with high leadership IQ view it as a powerful weapon for making improvements. These work leaders believe in 5 principles of effective evaluation: purpose, responsibility, involvement, guidance, and service. First, the purpose of evaluation is to satisfy the customer. An employee is not evaluated from the leader's perspective, but from the perspective of the customer who buys the products or services. Second, each worker owns the responsibility for his or her own personal conduct, because only that person can improve his or her own individual behavior. Third, every worker should get involved in the evaluation. Anyone who is excluded from the process will not feel responsible for the improvement strategies that result from the evaluation. Fourth, work leaders guide and teach others about improvement efforts so that everyone can understand and own the need for greater achievement. And fifth, the work leader serves the customer and those who serve the customer. Evaluators bestow praise for superior service and provide counseling to improve poor service. Murphy's research shows that average leaders, however, are unwilling to go on record in support of outstanding performance. Instead, they force all employees into a narrow scoring range. They also experience 3 times the turnover and absenteeism rates of work leaders, and turnover is especially high among top achievers. In contrast, people with high leadership IQ create a magnet of positivism, a belief in the perfectibility of people and businesses. This magnet attracts outstanding performers and motivates others to higher levels of service. Superior evaluators use 2 tools: the key principles for effective evaluation and the performance appraisal worksheet. To use the key principles, begin by spelling out what you are going to evaluate and why you should do it. For 97% of the work leaders that Murphy studied, the answers were basically the same. Why must we evaluate? To serve customers. What must we evaluate? Performance in 4 key areas. 1. Service to customers. 2. Service to the team. 3. Stewardship, including attendance and efficient use of staff and resources. And 4. Technical expertise in specific work roles. Consider the evaluation process as it is practiced at a rapidly growing environmental services company. To prepare a member of her department for a positive experience, a lab manager uses the 5 principles of effective evaluation. First, she uses principle number 1, define the purpose, to establish the framework for the evaluation. 1 week before the evaluation, she explains why and what they will evaluate. We are going to evaluate service and the specific behavior it takes to deliver it. The company is committed to examining 4 categories of performance. These are individual service to customers, service to team members, stewardship, and technical expertise. In translating the purpose of the company into practical behaviors for which each worker has responsibility, she applies principle number 2, increase responsibility. The employee reacts with skepticism and mild hostility. Doesn't evaluation really come down to whether you know how to play the game? The manager responds by reinforcing the first 2 principles and using principle number 3, get the person involved. She says, good question. Let's consider a different setting than our own, say a hospital. Would you want to be in the hands of a doctor who doesn't show up, or a lab technician who forgot to give your physician the results of your blood tests? The employee admits that performance evaluation is important in the hospital scenario, but denies that his work in the environmental lab involves life or death mistakes. She answers by applying principle number 4, guide and teach, to help the employee see how his work performance affects the staff's time and resources. I see your point, but you may be underestimating your importance to the team and our customers. Do others depend on you for accurate results? Could the results of your tests reveal a health problem for the public? If the results were wrong or late, would your coworkers have problems when preparing reports, or could our clients sue the company? The employee understands at last. Sure, those things can happen. I get it now. We're connected to each other by performance responsibilities, whether we like it or not. She responds by reinforcing principle number 5, service to customers. Precisely. You're important because what you do or don't do can have a real impact on other people's lives. She then asks him to use a worksheet to evaluate his own performance before their next meeting, and tells him she will complete the same worksheet and compare the results about his performance. The key principles of effective evaluation lay the groundwork for the performance appraisal interview. The second tool for evaluation, the performance appraisal worksheet, is used during the interview to guide the evaluation process. The worksheet includes all 4 of the crucial service categories defined in the purpose: service to customers, service to team members, stewardship for resources, and technical skills. Listed under each of these categories are several qualities, such as responsibility, willingness to share information, or punctuality. At the right are 3 columns of boxes to be filled in with the ratings by the employee, the ratings by the work leader, and the total score. A sample of this form is included in the summary booklet. The worksheet can be used to move the interview through 3 phases. First, consolidate the scores on a single worksheet. This creates the right tone of collaboration and focuses attention away from emotional issues. Second, compare and discuss the worksheets. Begin by focusing on areas where both scores agree, then move on to areas of disagreement. And third, reinforce the scores. If poor performance has been caused by events that are beyond the employee's control, offer to reevaluate your score in that area and to correct the problem. In areas in which the individual is weak, ask him to accept personal responsibility for making improvements. The goal of evaluation is to pinpoint opportunities for growth, rather than merely providing a report card on failure. The tools we've discussed provide a blueprint for continuous improvement.